killed while walking along an Eastside park. This morning, what we are learning about Stacey Dramiga's alleged killer and his criminal history.
Actually, he says, I'm not going back to prison. Pulled out his weapon out of his pistol out of his pants, fired.
And this morning, we got a witness sharing what he saw and heard when a man shot at two San Antonio police officers.
It's still slam dunk this morning for our San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to show you why Bexar County voters are divided on funding for a new arena downtown.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Oop.
On the first take, I think you got that on the first take.
That was, yes. That was the probably the only time I'd ever get that on the first take.
All I heard across the way was just a little
a little basket. Okay, so definitely we're going to be dunking on a lot of details today. But for right now, let's check out what's happening outside.
I mean, yeah, it's still a little humid, but it's absolutely gorgeous this morning as you're waking up. Most of our temperatures still sitting nice and comfortable with those, a little bit of that cloud coverage in the morning. 68 degrees in San Antonio right now, already sitting in the 50s in folks for the hill country near Kerrville, which this is a little normal. This is almost their new normal. Yes, they are still sitting a little bit below average, but waking up in the 50s in October is what everyone wants and really imagines for most of us, especially if you want the fall-like temperatures, because you're not getting it in the afternoon. Most of us sitting in the 80s and 90s, 89 degrees in San Antonio later today, 83 Rock Springs, 90 as you go out west near the river, and really this weekend is going to be more of the same. Copy paste. The only difference is we're seeing a little bit of some rain showers possible on Saturday. It's only about a 10% chance, but still, any rain is good rain for most of us. But here's the thing. Although our temperatures are still sitting in the 90s, we are actually above average. We have a few statistics I want to share with you coming up later on and how that relates for what we're seeing this October and coming up later in the previous Octobers coming up in just a bit, guys.
All right, 6:01, let's give you a look at your traffic authority as we start our hour, and we're going to start with our inbound drive times, of course. 44 minutes is going to be our biggest delay coming in from New Braunfels or so, again, on the northeast side of town. 19 minutes coming in from Bulverde and 24 minutes coming in from Bernie on this Thursday morning, and we're going to explain exactly what's going on over there on the northeast side here in just a bit. But first of all, we still have ongoing construction, 1604 right here at Redland Road. Alex Gomez reported on this earlier. It's going to be affecting all of our traffic headed out to 281 at 1604. We're going to be talking a lot about the north side because there's a new bypass also opening up by Blanco Road. So we'll explain that in just a bit. But again, northeast side of town, 35 Wiener Road, southbound traffic being affected at the moment. Let's check in with Alex and see exactly what you're looking at if you're about to step outside this morning in that part of town. Alex?
RJ, good morning and happy Friday, Junior. That's exactly where I'm at, the northeast side, 35 southbound at O'Connor Road. It's been like this since Judson Road, though, and so far I've been in this for about 10 minutes, but I do see crews now picking up barrels, so it looks like they just had a late start to picking things up, but again, 10 minutes to be in this mess over here on the northeast side, RJ.
Hey, thank you very much for that update, Alex. And yeah, our data is indicating that we're looking at about a 10 to 20 minute delay in that one stretch. Thank you very much, Alex.
Hi, 6:02 this morning. We are learning more about a previous arrest that led Bexar County Sheriff's deputies to the alleged killer of a 63-year-old woman.
Yeah, we're talking about Stacey Dramiga. Her body was found at a DeFoss Park last year. And this morning, we know her alleged killer arrested just a few yards away from that park and is waking up in the Bexar County Jail this morning. That's where we find our Patty Santos, who is there right now with a look at his criminal history. Good morning, Patty.
Hey there, good morning. So Samuel Charron, 23 years old, is waking up right here in this jail that's behind me. He's facing a capital murder charge and a charge of tampering with a corpse.
Are you responsible?
I'm not guilty. No.
Do you know her before?
That's video of Charron saying he's not guilty. And we checked court records, and just like the Bexar County Sheriff said, Charron does not have a very lengthy history at all, except for one arrest back in April of this year. The sheriff said it was for criminal mischief at a gas station. He says there was significant damage to the store, so this became a felony charge. But the case was closed about a month later, and it was dismissed. So he was let free. According to the arrest affidavit that we just got earlier this morning, earlier this month, early October, Charron got a citation from San Antonio police for shoplifting. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, we're going to tell you how that arrest back in April helped detectives really crack this case open. There was one key thing that deputies have to do when they're inside the jail right here and they arrest someone. We're going to tell you what that is coming up in 30 minutes.
Patty, thank you for that. This morning, a witness is sharing what he saw during the Westside shooting yesterday morning that left 2 officers hurt and a suspect dead. So the witness told us that when officers approached, the suspect yelled, quote, "I'm not going back to prison," end quote. After a 911 call and taunting police, SAPD say that a man pulled out a gun and shot it at officers. They returned fire, ultimately killing that man. And we've now learned from law enforcement sources that the man was 36-year-old Odon Bustos. Now remember, this happened outside a Ramada Inn off Highway 90 in West Military at around 8:30 yesterday morning. The San Antonio Police Officers Association told us yesterday the officers shot were in a hospital, one with an injury to his elbow and backside, and the other was shot in the leg. So KSAT gathered some records showing Bustos had an extensive criminal history in Bexar County that dates back to 2009. He had been arrested at least 12 times here in Bexar County and in other parts of the state. Bustos also had convictions for felony drug possession, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and family assault. We've also confirmed, and this is an important point, Bustos had multiple cases filed against him here in Bexar County, but they were dismissed since 2024. Now, Bustos was a parolee, which meant he spent time in the state prison system. At the time of his death, the state parole board had a warrant out for his arrest. Now, Bustos was also wanted on a warrant out of Dimmitt County. That's a couple of hours southwest of San Antonio for obstructing a court order. And the Bexar County Sheriff's Office issued a warrant for Bustos' arrest less than a month ago for aggravated robbery.
This morning, we got a lawsuit that began in Castle Hills and reached the U.S. Supreme Court. It's over now. The city of Castle Hills has settled the lawsuit and now owes Sylvia Gonzalez $500,000. Now, Gonzalez was arrested in 2019 and charged with tampering with government records after grabbing a citizen's petition signed by neighbors who wanted the city manager removed. The charges were dropped about a month later, but Gonzalez sued the city of Castle Hills, saying that her First Amendment rights were violated. Last year, the Supreme Court ruled in her favor. As a part of that settlement, Castle Hills will work with the Texas Municipal League to create a training program about First Amendment rights, and it'll be mandatory for all city staff at Castle Hills.
This morning, Bexar County has finally cleared the backlog of voter registration applications. Now, a reminder, early voting for the upcoming election starts this coming Monday, the 20th. The county processed 72,000 applications it received by October 6th. Elections Administrator Michelle Carew hired extra help that worked extra hours to get all this done. You can check your registration status online at texas.gov. And some important election dates are on your screen right now. In Bexar County, voters will decide on 2 propositions, both related to the San Antonio Spurs' potential relocation to a downtown arena. And we have everything you need to know about this year's election. Just go to ksat.com/vote. And in case you missed it, we had a special takeover earlier this week, focused on a new Spurs arena. It goes over who would pay for it, the arguments for and against the plan, and what has happened in other cities when pro teams want new homes. You can watch that special on demand at ksat.com and KSAT Plus.
Getting that information to voters about Propositions A and B was a huge focus in the State of County address delivered by Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai. Sakai says that the county will respect whatever voters decide this November election, but he also said that it's crucial for the county to focus on revitalizing the east side and downtown, calling both of these propositions critical opportunities for that growth. Prop A aims to take care of the Freeman Coliseum and Frost Bank Center, while Prop B focusing on the funding Bexar County will contribute to a new Spurs arena.
The Frost Bank Center cannot become the next Astrodome. That can't happen. And we have an opportunity for growth.
Now, the judge spent the time clearing up confusion on who would pay for these propositions, reiterating that the money from both props will come from a hotel and car rental tax and would not increase property tax rate.
All right, 6:08 now. So this morning, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the federal government shutdown is already slowing the U.S. economy, costing about $15 billion a week. Lawmakers still cannot agree on how or even whether to negotiate a deal to reopen the government. The Federal Reserve Chair warns the longer it drags on, the harder it will be for the Fed to track inflation and the broader economy, since key data is not being collected. Economists say tariffs were already pressuring growth before the shutdown, and a new IMF report predicts U.S. expansion will slow in the months ahead. This morning, one of the most significant airlifts in Alaskan history is underway to evacuate hundreds of people from storm-devastated coastal towns. Officials announced the airlifts on Wednesday. Some villages on the state's southwest coast were inundated by the remnants of a typhoon last weekend. The storm slammed into coastal communities, bringing record high water levels in some areas. Many homes were swept away, some with people still inside. One person died and 2 are still missing. And President Trump hosted a legacy dinner at the White House last night. The guest list included representatives from major tech and defense companies like Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Meta, Google, and Amazon. According to the invitation, the dinner was meant to be a fundraiser for a new $200 million ballroom at the White House. The current renderings depict a 90,000 square foot space with a golden crystal chandeliers, a coffered ceiling with gold inlays, gold floor lamps, and a checkered marble floor.
Well, here in San Antonio, over the next few days, we will continue to see more of the same. Temperatures still sitting in the 90s, but we should already be seeing or closer to the last 90-degree day. Will we? I'll tell you what you need to know coming up in just a bit.
A brand new Spurs arena could be coming if voters say yes. I got a fresh poll showing the county tax plan to help fund it faces an uphill climb. We've got those numbers coming your way.
We will get to the bottom of the matter, if it's a real crime or if it's a prank.
So imagine picking up your phone and seeing a stranger in your living room or even in your bed. That's exactly what's happening online, but these images are not real. The dangerous AI prank sweeping social media and why police say it needs to stop.
6:14 on your Thursday morning. Well, early voting starts in just a few days, but a new UTSA poll suggests a proposal to help fund a new Spurs arena downtown is facing an uphill battle. So here's a look at what pollsters found out about which way voters are leaning this morning. Let's break it down for you. Prop B, this is the one that's most talked about. It's the most important item on the ballot because that directly affects funding for the arena. The poll shows that 46% are not in favor of using the county tax venue to help pay for the arena. That's up 2% from a poll in April. 40% said that they would vote to approve funding, and 14 still undecided at the moment. Again, this is a state tourism and visitor tax dollar tax that would build the arena and cannot be used for public safety or other things like fixing roads or housing. So let's take you now to Prop A. This is here to upgrade the Frost Bank Center and also the Freeman Coliseum grounds and also expand our stock show and rodeo. Voters here a little bit more positive. 44% said that they would vote for Prop A and 41% said that they would not. Now keep in mind the Spurs have said that they do not plan to play at the Frost Bank Center after their lease expires in 2032. So this would only be for the future of the grounds and the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. Okay, finally, Project Marvel. This is the broader plan to redevelop downtown with a Spurs or a sports and entertainment district and then later get some upgrades to the Alamo Dome and the Convention Center as well. But a big part, of course, is going to be that Spurs arena. 45% of voters think the city should move forward with Project Marvel and about 40% were opposed. A sports economic expert tells KSAT the Spurs arena deal, though, is truly a coin toss.
So since 1980, there have been over 80 referenda on pro sports, giving money to pro sports for projects, and the passage rate is 50.1%.
And I can almost predict that this one's going to be pretty close as well. Now, early voting starts this Monday, and Election Day is going to be November 4th. And we have a full breakdown of this poll from UTSA on KSAT.com. Ernie?
Very good. Okay, 6:16 right now. Daniel Lubetzky, the founder of Kind Snacks, the Shark Tank investor and billionaire entrepreneur, headlined this year's keynote speech at the 10th annual San Antonio Startup Week. The Lee High School and Trinity University grad moved to San Antonio after being born and raised in Mexico City. In his fireside chat with the startup community, Lubetzky spoke about the power of compassion in business, having focused on social and economic inequality throughout his career. He spoke with our Devin Karp for an exclusive sit-down to talk about San Antonio's economic future and what he says the city has to offer the rest of the startup world.
I think one of the best things about San Antonio is that it's so kind and forgiving, because when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. And you need to be comfortable making mistakes and dusting it off, learning from mistakes, and then getting things done. And so the environment, the culture of San Antonio encourages everybody to be themselves, to try things out. And I think that it's a very conducive environment for entrepreneurs.
And that's just part of their visit. You can see the full interview right now. Just go to KSAT.com.
And right now, the northeast side is still moving pretty slow right now. Check out 35 South. I just passed O'Connor Road, but it's been looking like this since Judson Road. And I've already been in this for about 25 minutes. And all of this is because of construction. And now there's a disabled vehicle blocking the fast lane. So that left lane is blocked right now. But all of it on 35 South, 35 northbound lanes are still free and clear of construction. But what else are you tracking out there, RJ?
All right, thank you very much, Alex. So again, some major delays here on the northeast side of town. Let's go to the far north side right now because we are still seeing some overnight construction that is causing some pretty good backups here for our drivers over by Redland Road, and you're starting to see traffic build over by Bulverde Road as well. This is going to be all of our traffic going 1604 west towards 281, and we're looking at about a 15 to 20 minute delay right now for all of our folks in that one part of the north side. So keep that one in mind. Redland Road, Gold Canyon is going to be affected by that ongoing closure. And traffic starting to build right here. 10 at West Martin Street, where we have this ongoing construction project. A little bit further up the road on 10 at Culebra, we also have a stalled vehicle being reported in that one area. Traffic is slow going also for our drivers. 35 north headed past Cesar Chavez as we deal with all that bridge joint work that's taking place in downtown. All right, if you're about to step outside this morning, feeling pretty good. I took out the trash earlier, Shelby, and I got to say, I enjoyed it more than usual.
I was going to say, normally when you're waking up, you feel at least a little bit of that humidity and that mugginess. Well, today, yes, it's still there for some, but you're waking up in the 60s, and for some in the hill country in the 50s. 58 degrees in Comfort and Kerrville, 59 in Los Maples, 56 in Lakey. Still sitting at about 68 degrees for us here in San Antonio, 70 degrees at Port SA, but throughout the day, expect similar to conditions that we've been seeing. Not much of a change for the weather pattern. Yes, there is still going to be some mostly clear skies for most of us this afternoon. Peak temperature about 89 degrees, excuse me. But really, today is going to be similar. Copy paste weather forecast. But here's the thing. There is going to be a small change in the forecast later coming up this weekend and next week because of this area of low pressure that's making its way closer into areas of the United States and bringing some heavy rainfall and even some cooler temperatures for some. And it finally pushes that high pressure out of our neck of the woods. That's been really the main weather maker for us over the last little while. It's been dominating the forecast for us in South Texas. And with that, it's been allowing us to see 6 days. Traditionally is what we should be seeing for 90-degree days in October. But for us, the most we've ever seen was 19 days back in 1947. Well, this year, we've had 13 days in a row where we've seen about 90-degree days back to back. Now, today could change. We're still getting to about 89 degrees for us. But even then, despite 89 degrees today, we still have some temperatures in the 90s. 90 degrees tomorrow, 92 Saturday, 92 degrees on Sunday. So, yes, we still get more of the same old weather pattern. But today and next week, we could possibly break a little bit of a change in the forecast, just by a degree or two.
At this point, a degree is kind of a big deal.
Very much.
Thank you, Shelby.
All right, so you won't believe what's showing up in people's homes. Online, social media users creating fake AI images of strangers in bedrooms and living rooms, and it's kind of making people a little freaked out. We'll show you the viral trend and why police are warning everyone to think twice.
In this morning's GMA First Look, AI prank warning.
You're causing your friends or your family to panic, to think you're in danger.
Imagine picking up your phone and you see an intruder at your door. But these images are not real.
Can't just let people in our house.
They're part of a trend called the AI homeless man prank, where users deploy artificial intelligence to create fake images of a man inside your home. Police are warning it needs to stop now.
We will get to the bottom of the matter if it's a real crime or if it's a prank. If you're thinking this is funny or you're thinking this is something you may want to try, please think twice on behalf of your friends and family, and then also don't risk getting yourself in trouble or having to go to court being charged with this. It's easily preventable.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on this AI prank trend. With your GMA First Look, I'm Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
625, we have several different traffic trouble spots that we're seeing at the moment, including one on the now far northwest side of town where we're dealing with what's being reported as a crash right here at 1604 at La Cantera Parkway. This is affecting all of our traffic over by 10. So we will get you updated on this, plus your inbound drive times. Also coming up at 6:30.
If you're a high school bookworm in New Braunfels ISD, you're going to have to wait before you take another book from their school libraries. The district saying it's for the students' own good, but we talk about why parents are still not happy about that this morning. A bowl full of stones may not be the tastiest or the healthiest meal. We talk about a recall that's in effect for your favorite dinner table item, and we want to give you the heads up this morning before you reach for that next bowl of rice.
Samuel Charron is in here in the Bexar County Jail facing a capital murder charge. We're going to tell you how a new law helped get him here.
A contentious day 4 in court in the trial of 3 SAPD officers and why attention was on one officer who isn't even on trial. What we could expect to see later on today.
3 years have passed and the face of little Lena Khil still haunts San Antonio. She vanished from her apartment playground at the age of 3 years old and she would be 7 today. Well, we went back out to the community and neighbors are telling us this morning that the search continues.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Coming up on 6:30 right now on your Thursday or Friday. Junior, welcome to GMSA.
Nice to have you along. We've got the team assembled here. We'll get to RJ in just a little bit, but Shelby's up first to give us an idea of what Thursday is going to look like and if the rain chances are even remotely any better.
I mean, the rain chances are still there, especially as we go throughout the weekend. And I mean, it's a small chance, but a 10% chance is a chance in itself. But today is still going to expect conditions similar to what we've been seeing. As you're waking up this morning, temperatures for most of us staying in the 60s, 68 degrees right now for us here in San Antonio. Some folks were waking up in the 50s this morning, but really that's the only difference as you're waking up this morning is just a few degrees of a difference. This afternoon, similar to what we've been seeing and what we've been saying over and over again. 90 degrees expected to be the peak temperature for some, but otherwise in San Antonio it's going to be about 89 degrees, a little cooler as you get to the hill country, sitting in the mid 80s. And over the next 7 days, more of the same. But here's the thing, on Sunday, that's 92 degrees, but that's when traditionally our average last 90 degree day should theoretically be. And even then, our average high should only be about 83 degrees, but we're still sticking in the upper 80s and even the low 90s. I'll talk about what's causing the temperatures, why we're still sitting so warm, and when we could see a little bit of rain coming up in just a bit.
All right, let's get you updated on these roads with your traffic authority. We're going to start with our inbound drive times. 27 minutes coming in on the far west side, 90 eastbound, but our biggest delay is going to be 39 minutes coming in from the New Braunfels area. That's because we have ongoing construction and a major slowdown right there, 35 south at Thousand Oaks and Weidner. So keep that one in mind. No accident, but again, just ongoing construction. This situation right here on the far northwest side, we're starting to see a couple different things. Not only do we have some reports of a crash right here at La Cantera at 1604, but also reports of another incident further down the road, 1604 over by Tradesman, which is a little bit closer to the interchange. You see flashing lights there off to the distance. This will likely affect your morning commute there. Give yourself about 15-20 extra minutes along 1604 and still dealing with ongoing construction right here. This is going to be the north side, 1604 west headed over to the 281 interchange. Major delays right here over by Bulverde Road. We're now seeing about a 20-minute delay for all of our drivers making their way on 1604. Making his way through downtown, yes, is Alex Gomez. He's in drive cam for us, so let's see how things are looking for us in the downtown area. Alex?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. We'll just be prepared for that construction downtown, 35 South near I-10. It's still ongoing, so those right lanes are blocked. Right now, I'm more near I-10 in Culebra. It's smooth right here, but just to give you an update, it took me about 25 minutes total to get through the northeast side on 35 South at O'Connor, RJ.
Okay, good stuff there, Alex. We will check back in with him in just a bit, guys.
Well, this morning, the Bexar County Sheriff is calling him a monster. Samuel Charron, who you see behind us, in jail right now this morning, charged and booked in the gruesome murder of Stacy Jamiga.
All right, so the 63-year-old was walking at DeFosse Park on the east side back in 2024 when she was attacked, sexually assaulted, and killed. Our Patty Santos is live outside the Bexar County Jail this morning to tell us how an extra step that happened there helped investigators with this case. Patty.
Hey there, good morning. Well, that 23-year-old is sitting in the jail behind me facing a capital murder charge. And get this, the Bexar County Sheriff says it may have been a while before they caught up with him if it wasn't for a new state law. And take a look. We got a chance to see Samuel Charron yesterday as he was being walked into the Bexar County Jail last night. And he told our cameras he's not guilty. But investigators say they're pretty confident in the DNA evidence that linked him to this crime. A new state law passed in 2023 requires law enforcement to take a DNA sample at booking time for anyone arrested for certain felony crimes. Back in April of this year, Charron was arrested and charged with a criminal mischief felony. His DNA was taken then and put into a statewide database. Fast forward to about a week ago, BCSO compared that DNA gathered on the victim to the ones entered in the database, and that is how they got this arrest. Sheriff Javier Salazar says this is a teaching moment for law enforcement not to skip this step.
Here's why it's important to obtain these samples. Something on a criminal mischief charge ends up cracking a case wide open that would have been a true whodunit for some time had that not happened for us. So it was certainly a lot of police work, but also a little bit of luck that helped us crack this thing open.
And we checked court records, and Charron had no prior criminal history other than that arrest again that happened back in April. By the way, the charges on that were dismissed, but his DNA remained in the system. Reporting live this morning, I'm Patty Santos. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, Patty, thank you. This morning, a witness is sharing what he saw during the Westside shooting yesterday morning that left 2 officers hurt and a suspect dead. The witness told us that when officers approached the suspect, he yelled, quote, "I'm not going back to prison," end quote. After a 911 call and then taunting police, SAPD say that the man pulled out a gun and shot it at officers. They returned fire, ultimately killing him. We've now learned from law enforcement sources that the man was 36-year-old Odon Bustos. Now remember, this happened outside a Ramada Inn off Highway 90 in West Military Drive around 8:30 yesterday morning. The San Antonio Police Officers Association told us the officers shot were in a hospital, one with an injury to his elbow and backside. The other was shot in the leg.
This morning, the San Antonio Police Officers Association frustrated by this shooting. The group's president, Danny Diaz, pointing out that 20 San Antonio police officers have been shot the past 3 years.
It's very frustrating and disheartening. I'm tired of going to hospitals. I'm tired of seeing officers that are out there doing their job to help the community. Morale's at an all-time low. Frustration throughout the justice system. It's tough.
Now, fortunately, he says that both officers are expected to pull through, but he also says that something needs to change to stop this trend of officer shootings. Testimony expected to continue later today in the trial of 3 former San Antonio police officers who shot and killed a woman experiencing a mental health crisis. Now, for the 3rd day in a row, the first officer on scene that night, Melissa Perez, was killed. He took the stand. Now, to be clear, that officer not on trial. The jury saw body camera footage that night, and at one point, the defense played the video that showed an officer trying to climb through Perez's window before she came at him with a hammer. The defense asked Officer Jesus Rojas whether Perez would have been killed had he arrested her sooner.
If you had handcuffed her and did what you were supposed to do, you would agree with me, what we've seen on these videos never would have happened, right?
Like I said, never got to that point.
And you
Now, the 3 officers on trial are Alfred Flores, Eliezer Alejandro, and Nathaniel Villalobos. The big question in this case still is, did they violate protocol in shooting Perez? You can watch all of our live stream coverage of this trial later today. And again, it's on all of our streaming platforms. 3 years, that's how long it's been. The San Antonio community has not forgotten the face of this missing little girl right here. You remember her as Lena Khil. She disappeared from the playground of her apartment complex in December 2021. The then 3-year-old will be about 7 years old now. She vanished from the playground of her apartment complex on Fredericksburg Road, and that's just north of Wurzbach Road. And this happened December the 20th of 2021. Years after her disappearance, though, we went back to that community where she was last seen.
Yes, she's still missing. I know that. I watch the news still about her.
So this is a picture of what she would look like. She would be 7 now. Do you still keep an eye out for her?
Yes, we live like around that area, and there's a lot of kids like that. And like we usually I'm like, oh, se ve como la niña que se perdió. We still talk about her.
The little girl that went missing around Christmas, like last year, or was it the year before?
It's been 3 years. Did you recognize her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time I was a FedEx driver in that neighborhood. I used to see her dad like walking down the streets.
That's so sad.
You'd see the FBI when they were out there looking through the fields and stuff like that.
Now, we asked San Antonio police for an update on this case. Unfortunately, as of this morning, they didn't have one. FBI also involved in the search for Lena. And again, still asking for any information that if you know something about her disappearance, call SAPD.
It's a matter of balancing a child's educational needs with his safety and the safety of others. That's what a court is trying to determine right now with an 11-year-old boy at Gonzales ISD. Now, last year, he confessed to murdering a man in 2022. However, he was never charged with the crime because he committed it before the age of culpability. The boy was removed from his elementary school at Nixon Smiley CISD and has since been doing virtual classes. But the issue right now is that Gonzales ISD wants the boy to be in a special treatment center for his serious behavior and mental health issues. His grandmother disagrees. She wants a special education hearing. That won't happen until January. So in the meantime, a court ruled the boy will stay in virtual classes and will not go to the treatment center. Right now, a court ruled the boy will remain in those virtual classes.
A man is dead this morning after being, quote, possibly pinned between a trailer and a loading dock. And that's according to San Antonio Fire Department. The firefighters responded to the Pepsi facility on Northeast Side Tuesday. When they arrived, someone was giving the man CPR. Fire EMS crews took over, but the man later pronounced dead at the scene.
And throughout the next few days, we will continue to see that temperature continue to warm up. But even then, the pollen count, both molds and ragweed, for the first time in almost a week or two, they're sitting low. I'll talk about how that could affect your forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Shelby, and traffic on the northeast side not looking good this morning. We're looking at about a 30 to 40-minute delay for all of our drivers headed south at O'Connor Road. We're going to focus also on the northwest side coming up in just a bit. 2 separate incidents there. Jeff?
Schools may only last 6 or 7 hours a day, but experts are saying that the real learning happens after the bell rings. What is playful learning, and why do advocates say every kid deserves it? We're going to show you next. Welcome back at 6:44. Kids spend an average of 6 to 7 hours in school per day, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. So what about the rest of the time?
Good question. Experts say the learning that happens outside the classroom is important for cognitive, social, and emotional growth in children. And one organization is pushing for everyone to have equal access to what's called playful learning. ABC's Christiane Cordero has that story.
Kids may be in school for 6 to 7 hours a day, but a majority of their time is spent outside of the classroom.
They're learning when they're not in school. They're learning a lot of things, like how do I share the swing with Johnny, who got on the swing before I did, but I really, really want that swing. When you're playing Foursquare, you're learning math.
It's called Playful Learning, a research-backed approach that combines the joy of play with goal-driven learning. Playgrounds and museums can be great for socializing and critical thinking, but not all kids have the same access to these types of places, which is why a new pilot program, Live and Learn, is bringing playful learning to affordable housing. And they're proving that you don't need to have a lot of money or square footage to create something really interactive. The idea is to integrate the playful learning into the design plan.
We knew there were going to be 3 tables in the community room space. The community co-designed with our designers activity tables. The request from the community was one would have chess or checkers.
Another activity table has prompts for storytelling where kids can pick a character, a setting, and a scenario.
They should go to school.
At the entry of this building, games were built into the architecture. Live and Learn hopes these pilot sites are a model for playful learning installations nationwide. Christiane Cordero, ABC News.
That is so good, because you think about it, when we were in school, I'm sorry, I was just like, when you think about the hours, that is a long time. And outside of school, it's just like, you just want to rest. I used to go to the backyard and just play in the dirt. But that was my playful learning.
Yeah, that's what I tell my kids. Yeah, before these devices, I used to play with sticks and
the minute the lights went on the
marbles,
street, you got to go inside.
Oh, speaking of playful learning, hopefully people are knowing the world rules this morning.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, let's try and teach some folks and give them a little bit of details on what's going on here. I know, traffic situation, not great. So we did mention we were going to talk about the northwest side of town where we're seeing a couple different incidents. This is being reported as an accident right here. This is going to be 1604 East, right there at the UTSA main campus. So think to yourself, Chase Hill, the La Cantera Parkway area on the side of basically right there, the shops at La Cantera. So we are seeing some pretty good backups here, about a 20 to 25 minute delay. Again, right there by the UTSA main campus. A little bit further down the road, reports of an incident there by tradesmen and 1604, but that one does not seem to be causing too many delays. This is going to be a major backup that we're seeing 1604 right here, Belverde Road. Reports of construction still taking place, and this is just causing these delays all the way back to parts of Evans Road. You see some of the backup that we're seeing here, about 30 to 35 minute delays for our folks on the far north side of town. And then northeast side, not getting any better here. Traffic slow going. Southbound traffic, 35 at O'Connor Road, about an hour delay now just to get through this one stretch from Topper Wine. Let's check in with Alex right now. I believe he's headed out to 410, I-10, that entire area. Alex, what's going on?
Yeah, and I just passed that crossroads area right now. I'm on I-10 near Wurzbach right now, and so far no issues for the inner northwest side, but I'm on my way to check out other parts of the city that I can tell you about on GMSA Plus, RJ.
Thank you very much for that update. Alex, guys, back to you.
All right, real quick, we got to tell you about this. Ben's Original recalling a limited number of its products because they may contain small stones. So the recall applies only for its whole grain brown, long grain white, and long grain and wild ready rice products. They all have a best buy date of August of 2026, and the recall products sold at H-E-B, Target, and Amazon. The company says that they may contain small naturally occurring stones from the rice farm. Consumers should contact Ben's Original customer care for more information.
A sing-along version of K-pop Demon Hunters is returning to the big screen for Halloween. The hugely popular animated film is back in theaters on a limited run from October 31st to November 2nd. It's Netflix's most watched movie ever, and the streamer has created lyric videos just in case fans want to practice first at home.
All right, Chick-fil-A lovers, listen up. Happening today, Universal City getting a brand new Chick-fil-A today. Kitty Hawk Road location opens this morning, and for opening day fun, anyone dressed in a cow spots or wearing a cow-themed accessory can get a free entree or kids meal. That sounds great, especially for a spicy chicken biscuit meal. Give me a dot on my little white shirt and I'll be over there.
And I mean, today, if you do go to Chick-fil-A, you might want to get an iced lemonade or an iced drink because it's still going to be warm today. Although we're still sitting a little cooler this morning, 68 degrees in San Antonio, already 55 for folks up in Bernie. It's still going to be warmer, especially this afternoon for the kiddos getting off the bus stop and getting off the bus. We're still expecting temperatures to be about 80, the upper 80s to even have another warm afternoon. It is still going to be cold this morning, so they still might want a light jacket or a light sweatshirt, but they're definitely going to want to be able to take it off this afternoon. Now, temperatures today will continue to be on the warmer side. Most of us still sitting in the upper 80s, even for some folks sitting in the 90s, especially as you get closer to downtown San Antonio, just right on the border. But as you go to the hill country, they're going to be sitting a few degrees cooler, sitting in the mid to low 80s, as you don't have as much of the buildings and cement to really reflect some of that heat off of. But we're still seeing that high pressure system be the main weather maker for us in San Antonio, still giving us the warmer temperatures the last few days, today, and even over the next few days. But this low pressure system just to the north of the Four Corners, bringing some nice rainfall to the upper portion of the United States. That's going to continue to move, but behind it, there is going to be a secondary front moving through, and that low pressure system and that weak frontal system could make its way to San Antonio, allowing for some dry air to arrive on Sunday and Monday. And that also gives us a very small chance of some rain before, once again, another heat high builds back behind it in its place, giving us quieter weather next week. But like I mentioned, the small rain chances for us in San Antonio, it is very small. And even if I take a little query, really not tracking any sort of rain chances for us in San Antonio. Could see some places where you see rain near the coastal plains, but really for the 7-day forecast, the rain chances is really going to be the only difference you see on the 7-day.
All right. Thank you so much, Shelby.
All right, coming up on GMSA Plus, music icon Sean Diddy Combs facing 5 years supervised release with tough conditions. Stay tuned for the details on his sentencing and what comes next.
Similar conditions today to what we will continue to see over the next few days, seeing the pleasant mornings, the unseasonable warm afternoons, not only today, but also the next few days. Even on Saturday, we could get near record-breaking heat at about 93 degrees. On Sunday, expect more of the same. Still seeing a small chance of rain, still temperatures in the upper 80s, even low 90s. And the temperatures today getting to about 89 degrees for most of us in San Antonio. Before we continue to see the heat, stick around for us in San Antonio.
All right, thank you very much, Shelby. Real quick, just want to let you know that crash by UTSA, the main campus, looks like that has cleared out, so we're good to go there. 35 though south right here at O'Connor Road. Major delays. We're looking at about an hour delay for all of our folks that are headed from Topperwine all the way down to Wurzbach Parkway, Thousand Oaks as well. And we are starting to clear out our incident right here, our crash over 1604 Bulverde Road. But just keep in mind, there is going to be a bypass opening later on today, Blanco to Stone Oak Parkway. Let's check in with Alex real quick and drive cam.
Yeah, good morning, RJ. Well, right now, just normal traffic for 1604 eastbound right here at Northwest Military Highway. But I'm going to that area where the new bypass lane is opening up, and I'll have more details for you later, RJ.
All right, thank you very much, Alex. Let's send it to Ernie and Jeff.
All right, 2 officers waking up hurt this morning. A suspect is dead. We're talking about a witness's account of how everything went down in that shooting that we broke yesterday.
All right, very good. So just flip it on over to KSAT Plus, the free KSAT Plus app for GMSA Plus. RJ joins Jaffney after a break.
What?